Welcome back to a new journey update. I've been on the road since May 10th. Last time, we made it from Toronto, through the wild beauty of Killbear, up through Sudbury and Wawa, and finished by exploring the rugged trails of Pukaskwa National Park in Marathon. Leaving the city behind, Sudbury was our first real taste of the north, a rugged landscape that set the tone for everything that followed. Then we pushed on to Wawa. That stretch was something else. Small towns, endless trees, and that famous northern feeling that you're finally getting away from it all. After that, it was just me and the road, hugging the coast of Lake Superior all the way to Marathon. But there is still more to share from Marathon. In this video, I'll show you the local side of town, some of the great people I've met along the way, and a few last-minute adventures before we finally hit the gas and continue our push toward Winnipeg. After a stop in Thunder Bay, I kept going through the deep woods until I hit the peace and quiet of Rushing River. Then the landscape really opened up. I spent some time in Winnipeg, explored the trails in Riding Mountain. This old Sienna has been a trooper. I've clocked about 2,600 kilometers so far, but we aren't done yet.
That's a very nice rig. Fully decked out. With a ladder going to the roof, with surround lights. That is a proper vehicle. And has swivel chairs. That is a beauty. Next project. That's gonna be next project. Is the bird gonna cross the street or what?
I'm trekking up to the viewpoint above the harbor to catch the sunset. It's a steep climb, but from up there, you get the absolute best panoramic look at the coast.
There's a train coming up. I can hear it. Probably I'll be able to see it from the hilltop. That's the train right there. Whoo-wee! Nice. Let's keep going. It's almost sunset. I want to see the sunset from up there. Hilltop, here I come. This is very steep. The sign said 800 feet in elevation gain. Nice. Almost there. There's an arrow. This is very steep. I'm not sure how will I get up, especially since it's wet and slippery. So let's give it a go. Here goes nothing. Easier than expected. Look at this tree. Whoo! It grew up on this rock and the wind just lifted it up altogether. Wow, this was very rewarding. I mean, look at this view. The climb was insane, but it's totally worth it. And I can hear the waves all the way from here. Yeah, when you see the ribbons, you know you're on the right track.
Vamos a llegar al aeropuerto.
Galería. Rutina. Forma.
Going downhill is much easier. Is a piece of cake. It's a walk in the park. The thing is, going up is not very difficult, but the hill was deceivingly shaped. So the more I climbed, just as I thought I'm about to reach the peak, turns out it's just a sub-level, and then there is another level on top, and that kept on going. It was as high as the drone was flying the other day. So that was high. That was at least 120 meters. Just seen this chicken again. Oh, they're here. These chickens, they can actually fly. That's cool. They were nesting on the tree. These chickens are famous in Sudbury, in Wawa, and here as well. Part of the local wildlife. Hey chicken! It's another chicken. They're hard to see. They have the camouflage. Alright, it's 9:30 p.m. Walking back to the car. Gonna fix some dinner and get ready for bed. But as I'm walking, let me tell you an overview of how the day went, and then I'll play the clip. So in the morning, I was charging up my batteries using the solar panels, and I was sitting outside the car working on my laptop. So two gentlemen passing by, they stopped. Their names are Brandon and Dave. Brandon is a First Nation from the local community. He was born and raised in Marathon. So after the conversation, Brandon was very generous to take me on an adventure on the lands of the community. And the cool thing is that Brandon also worked in the local park, so he knows all about the ins and outs. He knows about the terrain, he knows about the animals, the nature, the weather. He's an encyclopedia of local knowledge. So the next clip is going to be the adventure with Brandon. Hey Brandon. So all of this used to be like sand over here.
Yeah, so last winter, 2 winters ago,
Yeah.
you were almost able to jump across.
Mm,
It was like maybe 18 feet at the most.
right.
I don't like putting tracks where people will follow mine.
Ah, yeah.
And then, well, you'll see once we get up in there.
Okay.
So this is traditionally Pick River's land.
Mm,
It was given back probably about 20 years ago. So this is when most of these little huts started popping up down here.
right.
And like I said, every family kind of has their own little area where
Yeah.
it's still camp. Like,
Right.
this is my buddy's place.
Yeah. But how come they're like all semi, you know, they look temporary? How come they haven't like built
Well,
actual?
they're supposed to be temporary.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be a permanent structure.
Right.
That was in the law, like the bylaws Pick River set.
Right.
Well worth the walk.
Yeah.
There's 197 stairs.
Okay.
No.
That's specific.
I've counted. I've
Okay.
been up them many times working there.
Yeah.
So that's the Mikanu Manabi Trail.
Right.
The one that comes all the way this way is
Right.
the north and south, like Middle Beach
Yeah.
is just over, and then Horseshoe Beach is the next one.
Right.
Mikanu Manabi comes out, it juts out farther than this point,
Yeah.
but you can't see till either you come up on the top where we're gonna go,
Mm.
or down.
Gotcha.
So our park starts here, and it's 76 kilometers down
Yeah.
to the Pukaskwa River
Yeah.
and Pukaskwa Depot. Another 4 kilometers brings you to a mine site.
Yeah. Yeah.
That takes you 3.5 hours to get there.
Yeah.
But this guy from the States in the early 30s and 40s built a great big mansion down there.
Oh.
No one knew
Oh.
till the park got built, then they found him.
Okay.
But he had his, like, there's a 17-room mansion down there.
Wow.
It used to have a dock. But once they found him down there, they kicked him out and everything. And
Oh.
so now it's just a haunted cabin.
Okay.
A
Like
haunted mansion, never mind, cabin.
he would come from the States across the lake,
Yeah.
and then he would like get the materials, the construction
He
stuff.
built
and-
it all back and forth across, because
Oh
I think it's
my
like 40
God.
miles. from where-
Yeah. Wow.
But he was like rich.
Yeah.
And so, like, they still say that place is haunted. Some people will sleep in it from the park when
Yeah.
we go down there. Some won't.
Yeah.
Some people won't even go in it.
Yeah.
Like, I seen it. And
You mentioned dunes, and like, what kind of dunes? Like, the only ones I know are from Saudi, you know, from the Middle East. And this is like already, see, this looks weird to have it in between all the forests.
Just wait till we get up. It'll be really.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel a little weird. Don't freak out.
No, go for it. That's insane. I want to go outside, just like look around. Wow.
I thought you'd like it.
Wow. Woo. Wow. What is this like separation right here? It's like forest, desert.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. Like we're as high as the trees. We're higher than the trees. Oof. It's beautiful. I'm guessing like because of like the very strong wind coming from the coast, it just keeps pushing the sand. It built this kind of like hill up here.
So within 25 years,
Yeah.
it's growing probably from back here.
Mm. Yeah.
Every year you get about a couple extra inches.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll like disappear.
Yeah. And like,
But this one always stays. This is a permanent.
I mean, the fact that part of the banks of the river went back was like reclaimed by the lake. This shows you like this is always evolving. There's always something changing. This is crazy. Wow. Like you don't see this anywhere else. And so unexpected.
See? And if you didn't stop at Pebbles Beach,
Yes.
you would have never have known.
If we have not met, and we would never have seen this place. That's crazy.
There's an actual trail from here to Marathon to Pebbles Beach. The
Yeah.
end of Pebbles Beach.
Yeah.
Starts just over at the end here on the rocks. Because it's the Cross Canada Trail.
Yeah.
So it's marked, but no one can find it. And I'm glad they can't. Because if we didn't have to come and search for people,
Yeah.
like searching for people in the park isn't bad because they don't go very far off the trail.
Yeah. But if you cannot find the trail, you cannot find them.
Yeah, they go off the trail on this side. It's awful because it's not maintained.
Yeah. What do you call it?
It's a powwow. So every July, it's like a 3-day weekend.
Right.
Everybody from all over the place.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the powwow trail. So every reserve has ceremonies like this all over.
Yeah.
And people just all summer long.
Right.
It's just nice. They go and dance.
Right.
Summer for competition, summer for sport, summer for money.
Brandon, if you're seeing this, I'd like to thank you again for your time, for your hospitality, for your generosity. This is a place to launch the boats at Marathon. I really like the kind of infrastructure that they have in this city. It's clear that they've worked on it quite a bit compared to other cities I've passed by. The amount of attention to like facilities and conveniences, it's really quite telling. You can see that there is a bench over that rock, which is really cool, and there is another bench here. The reason why I decided to climb this rock, and they know the scenic spots. I mean, to be fair, they have a lot of scenic spots, but they really do appreciate the nature and honor nature by providing all these facilities. And I mean, look at this. What a beauty. The scenery is really something. The camera could not capture all of this. I was talking to Brandon and Dave earlier, and they were telling me about other plans that the city has, including building a marina, which would be really cool. Because this lake connects to the States, right? And through the river system it gets to the Atlantic. So that would make the city a main hub. Fellow traveler, wandering Englishman. Land Cruiser from the 1990s, I would assume. That's a proper setup though. This goes anywhere and everywhere. And time to go to the public library, still in Marathon. Just spent some time at the public library in Marathon, and that concludes my visit to that lovely city. It's definitely worth checking out on our way back. So this is something that I'll definitely want to do. It's going to be much warmer, and will be a nice opportunity to swim in Lake Superior. Now I'm onwards to Thunder Bay. I've heard many good things about it from several people. It's 300 kilometers away, more or less, and it's going to take me around 3.5 hours. So we're on. Leaving Marathon, and this is the view from the highway of Lake Superior. Very nice looking view from here. Marathon would be over that mountain right there. The train would pass on that bridge and goes around the cliff from there, and it goes by the water. I was able to see it at a very long distance when I was at the Pebble Beach Marathon. Very nice scene. And I'm going to be crossing the bridge from there. You can hear how loud this waterfall is, and the water is going super fast. This is the Terrace Bay Beach. And right here is the boat launch location. The cars would back up and they would launch the boat, but given how fast the current is, I wonder how safe it is to do it right here. I don't know exactly whether there is a hydro station up there or not, but I do have a drone. So why don't we fly it and we see what's up there? Let's give it a go. Doing a quick pit stop on the way to Thunder Bay, and this is Nipigon, a city that is by the river, and this is like a place where you can see the history of the city and the river that passes by it. So they used to log wood, chop down trees, and then send them down the river to Lake Superior, and the river drops like 75 meters over a stretch of 40 kilometers. You can see that many of the cars here are actually also campers, and I want to go up that structure to see what kind of views we can get from there. One cool observation is that they sort of have the same suspension system that they used over there in that bridge. Let's go up. Nice. It's a bit windy and cloudy. It was much more sunny and early in the day. Got the chance to charge up the batteries. And now on the way to Thunder Bay. We have a view of the other side as well. Great. I just crossed the bridge and I saw a lot of cars coming in through this detour, and I said to myself, let's follow them. There must be a nice spot. Been driving for an hour and a half, so it was a good time to take a break. Now the view from here is cool, but you know what would be cooler? If I can go a little higher. I've made it to Thunder Bay. One thing about my parking spot, I think I'm a bit in the open, exposed from this direction and this direction, and because the car has like a long profile, it makes it very wind resistant, and I can literally feel the car moving with the wind gust. So what they've done over there, this group of campers, is that they're taking refuge with staples. So I'll join the group and hopefully I won't have a shaky night. Just finished my guitar practice, and the cool thing is that I'm sitting inside the car. Is still allowing me to have like, you know, like a centimeter or two in terms of clearance between me and the ceiling. The thing that I like about the journey so far, in terms of like quick reflections, is that this journey always presents me with like problems to solve on a daily basis. There's always something to think about, something that needs to be addressed. Do I have enough fuel? Will I have loss of communication in case if I have a Zoom call or any commitments that require me to be online? Do I have enough food? Do I have enough water? Is my battery charged? Is it gonna last me the night and the next day? Given that next day could be a sunny day, but it could also very well be a cloudy day. So like everything, it's almost like life gamified. Everything that is in my surrounding has a meter, a lifetime. صباحو الساعة 9. Most of the campers have left. This was really packed last night. Today's plan is to get the Starlink, figure that out, and then move on to our next stop, which is going to be a park 5 hours away called Rushing River National Park. There we go. Acquired the Starlink Mini, and this is going to allow me to get internet on the go. I need this because I'm at Thunder Bay, and then for the next 2,000 kilometers there's gonna be no connection. This is the device, very slim. It's as big as a tablet and slightly thicker than a tablet. Look at how cool this is. It's meant to be, you know, waterproof and weatherproof. So you put this in here and it just like creates some kind of like seal, suction. Nothing goes in anymore. So since I started the journey from Toronto, and as I've been heading westwards from Toronto, the day has been getting longer and longer, to the point that sunset is at almost 10 or 9:30 p.m. Right here, I'm crossing the 90-degree longitude west, and I'm entering the Eastern Standard Time Zone. So for that, I need to switch back my clock 1 hour. I still have 4 hours to my next destination, which is going to be Rushing River Provincial Park. Let's get it. Parked here for a quick pit stop. Interesting that fuel is more expensive here than it was in Thunder Bay. And yeah, that's the town. They have new edition Tesla chargers, and they have this float plane laying here randomly for some reason. Oh, and they have a chessboard here. And now time to get back on the road. There is like a small motel here and a small supermarket, but you know, like, I've always wanted to try barbecue places along the highways. At least I guess that's a thing in the US. It doesn't seem like it is a thing here, at least not yet. Maybe the closer I get to Alberta, the more opportunities I'll get to try barbecue and ribs and whatnot, since Alberta is more like our south. I had a quick ice cream sandwich, not the healthiest, but I had to buy something since I stopped here. 2.5 hours to go until my destination at the park. I'm half an hour away from the park. 50 more kilometers. And the whole time this has been showing me the direction being west. I'm going to be seeing this direction for a very long time. It's going to be mostly heading west, and then the way back is going to be mostly heading east. Yeah, it's exciting. It's the first time I cross a time zone while driving on land. It's a unique experience, first time. And let's check how much I've driven so far. So when I bought the car, there was roughly 244,000 something, almost 245,000. And right now I'm clocking 249,200 kilometers. This trip by itself, so I recorded when I left Toronto the first day. So far I've done more than 2,000 kilometers on this trip, and pretty much have 1,500, 1,700 left. I have just made it, and I got 96 as the spot for tonight. My criteria were it has to be a spot that is not very windy. That's what I learned from my previous stays. It has to have some kind of cover, you know, foliage around it, some trees, and also it's exposed enough for me to be able to charge my battery with the solar panels tomorrow. So this is a comfort station and it has a shower. You know, I'll stop for a quick shower before I go to my spot since I'm here. I'm not very far. There we go. Spot 96. I have water over there, but there is advisory on this water. I have to boil it before I use it. Yeah, I'm not gonna use it. I have a bit more of my, you know, hand washing water left, and I do have drinking water, so I'll not be needing this. Setup is right here. Right now, let's get cooking. I'm gonna get some eggs and I'm gonna get some sausages. That's what we're having for tonight. Good morning. I woke up, did my Duolingo lesson, and it's time now to do some exploration in the park. Having a look at the van, it looks like it's holding up quite well. I still have the blackout curtains installed, so just wanted to see how it looks like from the outside with them on. For the back windows, you cannot even tell that they're installed because it already has like a 30% tint, so you cannot really tell that it's there. Even the back window you can barely tell. This window doesn't have it, by the way, but because it's all dark inside, you cannot see. I removed it just because I want to see the difference between the one with the blackout and the one without. All right, let's go for a walk. The lake here is connected to several other rivers and lakes, and there is a route for canoes, so you can bring your own canoe, back your car into the lake and launch from here. I wonder if I can rent these canoes though. That would be one cool adventure, but also one cold adventure if I end up capsizing. Oh, I see kayaks over there, or more canoes. This is a camping spot. It's a bit windy here, but I mean, for the view, if I were to stay, then maybe this is a good spot. I see a lot of people camping over there by the lake. So I think they've thought about it. They're camping on that side of the lake because the wind is coming from there, so they're protected by the trees. Smart. I'm definitely moving more, so I feel like my stomach, my waist, they're getting more fit, more lean, more slim. Not eating less. I think my food intake is more or less the same as before in Toronto, but it's just more movement, more walking. When you don't have a threshold between you and the outside world, all there is a sliding door. It becomes much easier for you to step out from the comfort zone of the heated, ventilated, Wi-Fi serviced apartment. Leaving home is a process. You need to get ready, you need to look good because you're living in the city and people will see you, and then you need to grab your stuff, and then you need to go and wait for the lift for 10 minutes, have to walk through corridors and hallways until you get to the main gate. There are literally many steps, and psychologically you have various thresholds, at least 4 doors that you need to step through in order for you to get to the outside world. That's where even a small task becomes much more demanding. We saw the canoe launch earlier. Here we have the boat launch. Oh, and you know what this is? This is where you clean and fillet the fish. Nice. I cannot show you drone footage of the lake because there is a very strict regulation prohibiting the use of drones within provincial and national parks, with a fine of $25,000 for those who violate it. I'm not taking any chances. There is a unit for laundry, but only accepts loonies, which I don't have. I need to do some exchange, get myself some loonies. And they do sell here also soap and bleach and softeners. So cool. I see some geese over here. Hello, geese. I wonder if I can rent out some of these kayaks. Path of the Paddle. And this is a trail. Yeah, it would be fun to explore these lakes in a kayak or a canoe. But you need to be careful because they do happen to have some major drops and waterfalls around. There is a waterfall over there, or at least like a small drop. I'll go check it out in a bit, but I can already hear it. I can hear the sound of the fall. It's so tempting to get my foldable chair and a fishing rod and just spend the rest of the day here. If it were slightly warmer, I would be very tempted to swim to that rock, just to be in the middle of the lake. I'm wearing double jackets. One to keep me warm, one to keep me dry. Yup, fast water. We didn't want to swim here, and probably not good for kayaking either. People who do rafting go crazy streams and rivers like this one. Kayaks are more chill. Wow, this is so loud. There's a bit of facilities at the center of the camp. Playground, that's an amphitheater, a museum over there. Now, it was cool seeing the park and the river. The river was very loud. Now I'm getting hungry. So it's time for me to prepare some breakfast and some coffee. I got a little French press cup, looking forward to trying it. Yesterday I crossed the time zone. This morning I had to remind myself about my meeting times. Everything is backwards 1 hour. Almost at the borders of Ontario and Manitoba. Starting to see a lot more cars with Manitoba license plates on them. Since it's going to be this cloudy and rainy today, whether it's worth spending the day here, I'm tempted to keep driving into Winnipeg. At least I cut some kilometers and spend my day. Did you just see that? I saw a rabbit going like a wild rabbit. Oh, there you go. He's sitting over there. I swear this rabbit looks like Bugs Bunny. Same coloring. I'm officially crossing through the Ontario borders into Manitoba. I left the Rushing River Provincial Park like an hour ago, and now it's gonna be officially Manitoba. They have a system on the highway, so for the past 1,000 kilometers there was a countdown. Every 10 kilometers they have a sign, a small sign on the side of the road that tells you how many kilometers are left until the border of Ontario, which has been quite entertaining to watch, and it's very accurate comparing it to the Google Maps. So just moments ago I saw the last 10 kilometers mark. Hello, Manitoba. Immediately the first thing that I noticed is that the landscape is different. It's much flatter than Ontario. This is first thing. Second thing, here on the right you can see the sign coming up. So Manitoba also has a system that tells you how much distance you have left until the end of the province. Now, the first sign I saw was saying around 485 kilometers. Manitoba is significantly slimmer than Ontario. You can literally drive across it within 5 hours or so. So that's cool. Another thing that is different is the landscape. It's much more flat than Ontario. So far I haven't been on any hill. It's been quite flat. The highway is much bigger. It has the American system of highways. 2 lanes on each side. Also, top speed is 100 here, as opposed to a maximum of 90 in Ontario. That's also helping with fuel efficiency. Bottom right corner, this is constantly showing my consumption. You can immediately tell when I'm on an incline or a decline, because then you could see how the consumption is changing. But for a 2012 Toyota Sienna, my average consumption is really good. Factory setting is around 9.8 liters per 100 kilometer, and right now for the past 100 kilometers I've been doing 10.3 liters for 100 kilometers. If the road continues to be as flat as it has been, then I think this 10.3 is gonna drop even lower. Yo, look at this. It's as flat as a pancake over here. I haven't seen it this flat since the beginning of the journey, man. This has really opened up. I'm 35 minutes away from Winnipeg, and get this, it's 42 kilometers away right now. yeah, I'll probably spend the night in Winnipeg. It's 4 p.m. I'm getting hungry, and I just want to see the city as well, so I'll drive around.
Welcome to Winnipeg, where prairie grit meets a rich, deep history. From the historic Forks to the heart of St. Boniface, let's explore. We start in St. Boniface with the Académie Saint-Joseph. It's a stunning piece of our city's heritage, standing as a proud example of local architectural history. Just down the road is the Université de Saint-Boniface. As the oldest French language institution in the West, it's the true heart of our Francophone culture. Crossing the river, we reach the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Its twisting, iconic glass structure is a bold, modern landmark on the Winnipeg skyline. Connecting the two sides of the city, the Esplanade Riel is more than a bridge. That soaring pylon is a real symbol of our city's spirit. Right below is the Forks, where the Red and Assiniboine rivers meet. It's been a meeting place for thousands of years and remains the pulse of Winnipeg today. Finally, the ruins of the St. Boniface Cathedral.
It's 6 p.m. Winnipeg is a nice city, to be honest. It's very calm, but also very cold. I was chatting with Gemini or Google on the way and asking it about the temperature, and it seems like in winter it drops below 30 degrees Celsius.
In Toronto, we like to pretend it gets that cold for a week in January. But in Winnipeg, they just call that Tuesday for about 5 months straight.
I was seeing pictures of Winnipeg in winter, and this whole river becomes ice. It's becomes a common place for people to come and ice skate. If the layer of ice is thicker than 10 centimeters, then it's safe for walking. At least that's what I learned today while I was doing my fishing license certification. Part of the fishing is on ice, so a lot of attention is put on safety and precautions when going on ice and drilling holes. That's a nice looking bridge. When we see a nice looking bridge, we have to cross it. So this bridge, the supports, they have metal protection, and for a right reason. Seems like there is a lot of lumber that is washed down the river during the winter season. I appreciate pathways that go under bridges. The one I'm walking below right now is a sort of a highway that goes into the city. And here I am, just walking across, not minding the cars and the noise and the traffic. Every city should have pathways like this. I first saw it in Paris and I was quite impressed. And the cool thing there is that the pathway continues very close to the water. Here I'm going up in elevation back to the street level, whereas in Paris it was always constant, same level by the water. That was a very enjoyable experience, and I can hear cheers of a crowd at a distance. Let's walk there, see what they're up to. But turns out to be a baseball game, and this is a stadium. Cool. Celebration Circle. All the people who go on the road, they tell you to get a Planet Fitness membership to use their utilities and, you know, work out and use the shower, etc. when you're on the road. But to be frank, this must have been the first Planet Fitness that I've seen since I left Toronto. Maybe it works better in the US, but in Canada you don't see Planet Fitness that much. This is Walmart. So these two poles are not antennas. These are actually for archery. People stand underneath, under that shed, and then they shoot their arrows across the top side of the pole. These are some of the local sports. Saint Sebastian Pole Archery Club. This is a nice building. This is the City Hall in Winnipeg. The thing about Winnipeg is that it's either freezing cold or now it's scorching hot, and I actually have right now the air conditioning on in the car. This is all the difference that 12 hours could make in the city. Very bipolar weather. The next couple of days are going to be all cold and rainy, so I think I've seen enough. I've seen the best out of the city. I've seen it cold and I've seen it hot. Now it's time for me to get going to my next destination.
I want to say a huge thanks for tuning in and following along. Next time, we're crossing the prairies, spending some time exploring Regina, and then we're taking this old Sienna all the way to Calgary. I cannot wait to show you what's waiting for us in the Rockies. Catch you on the next one.